we find out what a low-speed VRT single auger juicer is, and we make almond milk with it. That's this time on
In the beginning, there were two juicers, and this was, there were two types of juicers. This type, which is a centrifugal juicer, this is the one most people start out with. It is cheap, relatively cheap, $30 to $50, going always up to $200. And then the masticating juicer. These are expensive, $1,000. How did this one work? Well, it has there's a picture right here. Has a pan in the bottom of it, shaped something like that. This part down here has a grater on it. You use something like this, you push the fruit down in there, it pushes against that grater bottom, shreds up the fruit, throws it out. The juice, this part of the pan has small holes in it. Juice is able to go through that. And then the rest of it, since it's spinning at what's called centrifugal, it's spinning at between 6,500 and 13,000 RPMs. Since it's slanted, the waste goes up and out the back. This is fairly efficient. You get about 60% of the juice that comes out. Does two things though. Pushing it against that grater at the bottom is at 6,500 to 13,000 RPMs. Creates a lot of heat or friction. Friction is bad for enzymes and such, is which the reason you juice for is because of those enzymes and stuff. Well, that heat can kill them. The other thing is it throws it out, and it spinning it creates a lot of oxidation or oxygenated juice. Well, the juice doesn't last that long. That's why if you have one and it comes with a little piece of paper they usually keep in the juicer that says do not try to refrigerate drink within 1 hour, because the oxidization kills all the enzymes and it becomes just sugar water after that point. That's why they came up with the masticating. This one is actually a horizontal masticating one. It had two augers that would go down, get closer and closer together. You'd put, once again, have something like this, but it's much smaller. Push your stuff into this. It would be grabbed by the two augers and just squeezed until the solids came out the end, and the juice would be squeezed out and drop out the bottom into something like this. Those were much better, took a lot longer, jammed a lot more, yada yada yada, but they cost $1,000 because they were mostly stainless steel. The Koreans about a year ago came up with the vertical single auger juicer. Well, this is sort of like the best of both worlds. It's actually a low speed. When it turns on, you can see it spins at 80 revolutions a minute. Other ones have come out that go even slower, like 60 revolutions a minute. Well, let's bring you in closer and I'll show you what all the pieces of this look like.
the Omega VRT 350 slow speed single auger juicer.
Okay, we start off with the food chute. It's relatively good size. The centrifugal ones have bigger ones. You can put actually a whole apple in. The old horizontal type had a smaller, like maybe half that size. This one just twists off and comes off. Then the real workings. This is your single auger. As you can see, it's fairly heavy. This piece right here is actually kind of sharp, and it spins around like that. And as it spins, as each piece creates a hole in there, as each piece drops down, this comes through and cuts it off, and then these extra grooves pull it down and force it against this. As you can see, there's little small holes in the screens there and at the bottom, and then the rest, there's little graters that help grate it. comes off. This is a self-cleaning mechanism that cleans these. These clean the outside, and then this part cleans the two screens. As you can see, there's one little hole right down in there, if you can see it. That's where the solids are ejected out through the solids thing. The juice is actually pushed through the fine mesh and ejected out the juice side. So that's really all there is to it. To put it back together, you have to match up that red dot with the red dot on the side over here. In actuality, that matches up the hole in the bottom with the hole for this. Well, it helps if you put this on first. And then the single auger goes on the side. And as I said, it leaves that big opening right there where the food would go in, and then this piece would cut it off and it gets pulled down. And then this ingeniously has a magnet in that little tab right there. So when you close it, the magnet causes it to work. Working, non-working, because of that magnet. Now to show you it in action, I'm going to make some almond milk with some almonds that have been soaking in water overnight. We're about time to strain off the old water. Some of the bad stuff in the almonds is seeped into the water, so you pour off the old water and use totally new water. Okay, here's the almonds that have been soaking overnight until the water's all murky and disgusting. You pour off that water and you put them in roughly a 3-to-1 ratio. So there's 1 cup of almonds there, so you'll add it to 3 cups of water. Okay, we're ready to make some almond milk. You have to get both almonds and some water. That's about right there. And just keep it up. 2 almonds, bunch of water. Just keep it up till you run out of water and almonds. As you can tell, it's coming out a really milky looking color. Just a little bit more. Look how that's just bone dry. You can take that and make almond flour out of it. Mix it with half flour and you won't even tell the difference. You always gotta let the machine run a little bit, let everything drip its way out. See how this is still coming out? That's very dry almond. Wow. There you go. Almond milk. Confess, never had this before. Have to see what it tastes like now. It tastes like soggy almonds. I confess, this does make a very pulpy juice, so I'm actually going to need to strain that to get a very creamy stuff, but it'll be alright. Then I'll have almond milk. Should last 2 or 3 days in the refrigerator, and we'll find uses for it. So thank you. That's it in this edition of The Gadget Garden.